intervention. You can label it and dismiss it as social justice if you wish. But we need to ask ourselves, how much of our economy are we willing to jettison in the name of free trade and globalization and cheap products? The Chinese...
You do realize globalization is one of the reasons why the economy around the world is doing so well right now, right? All right, one of the reasons why American economics isn't doing really well right now. You want to know why? Because we keep blowing our spending on useless shit. That's why the American economy was sucking under Obama. He kept spending so much money on stupid shit. That's why it was kind of crap when Bush left, because he was spending it on stupid shit. It's literally what a lot of the economic problems of our country did. Like, and I'll even say, it happened under Reagan too. Reagan had an abysmal spending rate when it came to the military. All right, that was one of the. All right, that's one of the reasons why the U.S. government experienced a recession under George W. Bush, which caused him to raise taxes, even though he said that he wasn't going to raise taxes.
And others will always be able to manufacture goods for less than we will. Their workers are paid a fraction of what ours are, and have a fraction of our...
Because they don't have taxes. Look, it's because of the corporate tax rates, all right? Just because their workers are being paid less, does that mean we should be punishing them for how they do their own economic policy? As long as it's not interfering with us, it shouldn't do anything. And this isn't directly interfering with us. I just said, for the 10th time, this is because of corporate taxes. You are being economically illiterate, James. Very economically illiterate.
Quality of life. And a race to the bottom, which is what competition is, those willing to live with the worst conditions will always win. So the question isn't who can manufacture goods cheaper. We know the answer to that. It's the Chinese. Instead, it is how do...
This is getting annoying. But okay. Basically, James is just making this really, really dumb straw man on basically all of this. It's just really strong-heading this all to hell, and I'm getting sick of it.
The nation protect our economic and national security. Globalized trade has had the effect of bringing down the cost of goods, but that phenomenon has come with a cost. From 2000 to 2010, over 55,000 factories in the United States closed down, and along with them, 6 million manufacturing jobs were lost. That's right, 6 million manufacturing...
Because you're neglecting to mention within that same time period, George W. Bush did a boo-boo with tariffs. Okay? It's a simple fact. George W. Bush was terrible when it came to tariffs. Alright? A lot of jobs were lost because he was tariffing a little bit too much.
Jobs. Some people point to our low unemployment as an explanation for why this really isn't such a big deal. However, keep in mind that we are also experiencing the lowest labor force participation rate since the 1980s. Fewer people now are working now than in the past, and much of that is due to the fact that the jobs they used to hold are simply no longer available.
No, it's because we have welfare. It's because we have a whole bunch of these big government things that are basically screwing over hardworking people just to, welfare. That's really what this is. That's really what a bunch of this is. A lot of reasons why people aren't in the workforce anymore is because a lot of people are getting welfare. Like, that's how they're living, is just through welfare. I work at Walmart, okay? You know how many people I see at least in a week come through here trying to use EBT cards? A bunch. You want to know why so many people just aren't really getting into the swing of things when it comes to economics like this? It's because of the welfare state that we have created and has been in effect for years and years and years on end.
That's due to, in large part, to globalization. America is headed down the path of becoming a nation of consumers, dependent on the world to manufacture all of our goods for us. This carries with it a significant risk. A lack of domestic industry places a nation at risk of shortages or price gouging at the hands of their trading partners. If America's steel industry goes under, for example, we will be dependent on foreign manufacturers to import our steel.
Well, that's what a lot of countries do. That's what Korea does, and they have one of the fastest economy. That's what they have one of the best economies in the world. It's what Denmark does. It's what a lot of these socialist safe havens basically do. So what? We still and half the reason that they're like this is because we keep paying so much for their defense spending. And like I said, one of the reasons why they're able to do that, because we pay for them. We pay for lots of their shit.
Poses significant risks for American infrastructure, defense, and manufacturing. We can see this happening right now with oil imports coming from OPEC and Russia and Venezuela and these other trading partners. We are largely dependent on the exports of our trading partners to determine oil prices in the U.S. And if there's a shortage from OPEC or a shortage from Russia or a shortage from Venezuela, then we are left scrambling to fill the gap between the supply available and the demand for it. When ideally the situation would be we encourage domestic production of oil and natural gas, and as a result we would no longer be
You do realize that like I've seen a couple of articles, more than a couple articles, saying that by 2032 America could become the fastest growing oil producer in the world. Okay, and besides, but with the advent of fracking, the United States is putting out more and more oil every year. So I don't see your point with Russia, with my Russia or my OPEC.
Subject to price gouging or artificial shortages being established by OPEC or Russia, we would be able to manufacture oil and natural gas for ourselves. This would be the ideal situation. In a recent column, Pat Buchanan...
We already produce enough of our own natural gas anyway. Like I don't know a lot of people who don't have natural gas at their house right now. Alright? And I live in rural southeast Texas. We got a lot of natural gas here.
And it proposed that America should learn from Europe and European trade policies. The European Union nations place a VAT, or value-added tax, on every import from the U.S. Exports to the U.S. get a VAT rebate. In effect, this functions like a tariff. This has the effect of increasing exports, which add to the nation's GDP.
Why do you have such a hard-on from Pat Buchanan? I mean, in your video trying to debunk the Daily Wire over their supposed anti-whiteness, you were just saying his name a bunch. And I don't remember anyone on the right ever saying anything along to the effect of, "Oh, Pat Buchanan's just a economic arbiter." What about Milton Friedman? Where's any mention about Friedman, man? Like, come on. Like you're not helping your case here, man.
And benefit domestic producers. The goal of tariffs, states Buchanan, is to increase domestic production. It is to incentivize foreign companies to build factories here, to sell products here, not build factories overseas and then sell products into the U.S. This would, in turn, have a cyclical effect. More higher-paying jobs in the U.S. means more people with disposable income, which means more saving and more spending on products, thus more demand, thus more need for manufacturing, etc. Trump's proposed steel tariff would raise the price of a car approximately $45. $45.
This is also a thing when it comes to taxes. What if you crash your car every week? $45 may not seem much on paper, but to the person buying the car, that's a lot. Alright, and that's not even the actual advent price. Okay. And that wouldn't even be the price. $45? That's a ludicrous number. I've never heard that before.
To pay for the consumer, but it adds up for the manufacturer, and more auto manufacturers are going to be incentivized to move their factories back to America or build new factories in America, which, by the way, is the largest automobile market in the world. These tariffs wouldn't have measurable negative impacts for the average consumer, but they would be massively beneficial for Americans that work in manufacturing or live in Rust Belt states or towns or are affected by those people and their purchasing power. This will be great news for American workers and eventually American consumers, but there will be an adjustment period where companies will be taking a slight hit on their bottom line. But I'm okay with that. I would rather have Americans and American industry benefit in the long term, even if it means there is some short-term stress for coastal business elites.
This is not... What? Coastal business elites? This is going to screw up everybody. Okay, I don't know where you're getting this whole thing about how, oh, this is just going to set us back a little bit, but in a few years, we'll be one of the biggest powerhouses in the entire world. when it comes to economics. But that's just not the case. It's just not the case. It really isn't. Alright, I hate to break it to you, dude. No. Alright, I'm sorry. Can't help but burst your bubble. Tariffs are not going to work like that. They're going to set us back a lot, because guess what's going to happen next time? We're going to get tariffed up the ass by all the EU nations. We're going to get tariffed out the ass by China. We're going to get tariffed out the ass by a bunch of our allies. And that's a good thing? I see no reason why this would be a good thing. I see no underlying reason at all why this would be good for the country. None. Just none whatsoever.
And rootless transnational cosmopolitan economists. Cheap consumer goods are nice, I guess, but having a strong national economy, that's even better. And if I have to pay $45 more for a car, knowing that it was made in America and I'm helping pay an American worker's salary, that is without a doubt money well spent.
Okay. Well, you're gonna play music at the end of your video. I'm gonna play mine. This is sad. This is sad. I mean, just so many people are just basically kissing Trump's ass on this, like it's a good thing. Like Trump's actually doing this whole MAGA 4D chess thing when it comes to economics, when that just plainly isn't true. I don't understand why a bunch of Trumplicans are basically just loving what this is. This is not going to help Americans in the long run. This isn't even going to help Americans in the short run. Alright, like I just said, freaking tariffs are a lot of the reasons why American policy when it comes to taxing other countries within the last 2 decades almost has been shit. How many jobs that we have lost because of these economic policies, because of these mistakes, and because also the underlying factors that James is neglecting, like not property taxes, corporate taxes. He's not paying attention to the stats that are there. Alright, there's a lot of stats that he just glossed over. Alright, and like I said, I really wish he would just go up and debate Roman Byland on this, because he would just school him on this. Alright, I'm telling you, a lot of people are very displeased, alright, and you know what? You know who else really is displeased about this? The United States Congress and the Senate. The United States Congress, Trump's own people as well. They are the most pissed about this. So guess what, James? This whole thing about how this is actually going to help Americans, even though most Americans are saying, dude, this is fucking dumb. This is just adding to one of the worst few weeks of Donald Trump's presidency. That started with the whole Rob Porter controversy and how he completely botched that. And then when he tried to advert the blame on the Parkland shooting away from him, even though that did nothing, that would have actually done nothing to him in terms of his policy, in terms of his approval rating. That put a lot of conservatives at odds with him. A lot of people do not like what Trump has been doing within the last few weeks. And yes, he has cut some of that rhetoric back. But he's also being an outright douche and becoming a total protectionist and is not actually paying attention to the policies that are there. The policies that should be influencing us on this particular issue. The lessons that we should have learned from these particular tariffs. We're just not listening to it. We're just not looking at it. We're just going to ignore it for short-term political gain, if it's even that. If that even happens for Trump. All right, this is going to screw him. This is going to screw him for a lot of Americans going to the polls in the upcoming congressional elections. A lot of people are going to be thinking about these last few weeks and saying, "Wow, this is just absolutely dumb." And when it comes to 2020. When it's time for another president to be elected or for Trump to get reelected, a lot of people aren't going to look too kindly on this. They really aren't. They really aren't. Alright, like I said, I want Trump to do well, but this is not going to help. This isn't going to help in the short term. This isn't going to help in the long term. This isn't going to help much at all. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this one. I will also make another rebuttal video for James Allsup when it comes to the Daily Wire going anti-white bullshit that he was talking about, I think a couple weeks ago, or at least a week ago. And so I'll try to have that one up as soon as I can. So anyway, you guys have a good one. I will see you guys whenever I see you. Don't die.